Okay, I'll start the session. Okay, today going to give the introduction about fluid mechanics and machinery lab. This semester you are having two labs. One is fluid mechanics lab and another one is energy conversion lab. Okay, so this fluid mechanics already you studied the theory concepts in fourth semester, and this fifth semester you are going to learn turbo machine. Okay, so we are going to learn both fluid mechanics concept and as well as fluid machinery concepts in this lab. So whatever the things you learned in the fourth semester, so you are going to do practically in fourth semester. Uh, First I'll give the subject code for this FM lab is 18 MEL 57, and subject code for your EC lab is 18 MEL 5A. Okay. Already you know the question paper pattern. Okay, so you are having 40 marks for your internal assessment, 40 marks divided once again into your record plus your lab internal examination. So you have to attend all the lab classes regularly, so that we'll give the guidance in the next classes how to conduct the experiment, how to take the readings and all things. Okay. So in this class, I'll give the introduction about FM lab. Okay. Already you know the subject fluid mechanics. Can anyone define fluid? What do you mean by fluid? Okay. I understand. Just I'm asking the definition of fluid. How we are going to define the fluid?
Sir, anything that flows.
Okay. So fluid is a substance which is having the capacity to flow. Okay. So don't think that only liquids are fluids. It is not like that. Both liquid and air comes under the fluid category. So that both are having the capacity to move from one point to another point or from one place to another place. Okay. Uh, and this fluid is we are having so many types, like we are having Newtonian fluids and non-Newtonian fluids. Okay, Newtonian fluid means the fluid which obey the Newton's law of viscosity. Newton's law of viscosity already studied, that is tau equals to mu into du by dy. Already studied in fluid mechanics. So mu equals to tau divided by du by dy. So tau is what? Shear stress, and du by dy is your the rate of shear strain. Okay, hence we can define the viscosity. This Newtonian fluid as the fluid which obeys the Newton's law of viscosity. Okay, first you should know the definition of fluid. It is a substance which is having the capacity to flow from one point to another point, or from one place to another place. Next, okay, now I'll give the classification of fluids. Okay, so I think you might have heard ideal fluid and real fluid. So can anyone tell what you mean by ideal fluid? Ideal fluid and real fluid. So ideal fluid is one which is having no viscosity, means the viscosity is zero. So such kind of fluids we are calling it as the ideal fluid. Okay. On the other hand, so we are having the real fluid. Real fluid means which possesses some viscosity. Okay. So the fluids which are having the viscosity, we are calling it as the Newtonian fluid. Real fluid, and the fluids which are having no viscosity, we are calling it as the ideal fluid. So this is the major difference between ideal fluid and real fluid. Okay. After that, we are having a Newtonian fluid and non-Newtonian fluid. Already I told Newtonian fluid is one which uh, obeys the Newton's law of viscosity. That is tau equals to mu into du by dy. On the other hand, non-Newtonian fluid means the fluids which do not obey the Newton's law of viscosity. That is called as non-Newtonian fluid. Then after that, you studied pressure and measurements. There are so many pressure measuring devices uh, are there barometers, manometers, okay, Borden tube. Okay. But in our lab, we are mainly using the manometer. In the manometer, we are using the mercury or water as the manometer fluid. Why not other fluids? Why mercury is only used as a manometric fluid? Okay, you studied why mercury is used as a manometric fluid in the basic thermodynamics. Like that, it is having the linear coefficient of thermal expansion. That is the one advantage. Second one is the mercury does not stick to the walls. Okay, that is second advantage. So that is the second advantage of mercury as a fluid in the manometer. Okay. Third one is it is having the higher density. Okay, so some of the things. Uh, First one is having the coefficient of linear expansion. Second one, we are having it is clearly visible. Okay, suppose you use some other liquid, so we may not observe the readings properly. For that purpose, mercury is used as a manometer fluid. Okay, and does not stick to the walls. That's why it is used as a manometric fluid. Okay, so the I'm dealing with this pressure measuring device. One is manometer, Gordon tube, and one more is so many devices are there, but mainly we are using the mercury manometer in the lab. Okay. So in the Viva, they'll ask what do you mean by uh, pressure and pressure measuring devices, etc. So that you have to, before starting any experiment, first you should aware of that experiment and what is the principle behind that experiment, and then various accessories are used in that experiment is most essential. Okay, simply don't go to the experiment and directly start the experiment. It's not like that. The first you have to analyze what kind of experiment, what is the theory behind the experiment, etc. uh, Next, we are having the viscosity. What do you mean by viscosity? Already you know the viscosity is one which is having the resistance to the flow. Okay, that is called as the viscosity. Okay, the property of a fluid which offers the resistance to the movement of one layer over the other. So whenever the liquid is flowing or fluid is flowing, so one layer of the fluid offers the resistance to the another adjacent layer. So this property is called as viscosity of the fluid. So there are two types of viscosity. One is the dynamic viscosity and another one is kinematic viscosity. So dynamic viscosity is, as I said, it is a ratio of tau divided by du by dy. Tau is shear stress and du by dy is your the rate of shear strain. Okay, and another one is the kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity, it is the ratio of uh, dynamic viscosity to the density of the fluid. Okay, so kinematic viscosity is represented by symbol nu. Okay, and dynamic viscosity is represented by symbol mu. Okay, and divided by density. Already you know density is rho. Okay, and some of the values you should remember while conducting the experiment. Okay, first one is density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube, and density of air is approximately 1 kg per meter cube. And one more is that density of mercury. Okay, density of mercury is 13,600 kg per meter. So these are the three densities you should remember. Okay, so while calculating the things, so these are the values most important. Okay. First one is density of water is 1000, density of air is approximately 1.126, and one more is density of mercury, that is 13,600 600 kg per meter cube. Okay, already you know density. Density is the ratio of mass to the volume. Okay, it is unit is kg per meter cube. So first, these are properties of fluid. Okay, first one is density. Second one is viscosity, and third one is we are having the relative density or specific gravity. I think you might have heard this term in fourth semester. Specific gravity. One other name for specific gravity is relative density. It is defined as the density of the given liquid to the density of standard liquid. For liquid, the standard liquid is water, and for air, the standard air so standard is the air. Okay, gases. Sorry. So we can define specific gravity of any fluid is defined as density of the given fluid to the density of standard fluid. So density of water is 1000. So density of given liquid equals to density of given liquid to density of the standard liquid. So you have to take the ratio. So after taking the ratio, we'll get the value. Okay, density of water is sorry, specific gravity of water is 1, whereas specific gravity of oil, so it is less than that of your water. It varies from 0.7 to 0.8. Okay, sometimes they'll give specific gravity is 0.7, then how to find out the density? Just you multiply by 1000. So if specific gravity of oil is 0.7, then the density of given oil is 0.7 into 1000, it is 700 kg per meter cube, like that. So before conducting the experiment, you should have certain you should remember certain formula, and then certain values. Okay, next, another important property of the fluid is your surface tension, and then capillary action. Okay, surface tension is the tensile force acting on the surface of the fluid, and unit of surface tension is Newton per meter. And capillary action is already you know, capillary action is the rise or fall of the liquid with reference to the standard level of the liquid. Okay, suppose if you keep glass tube, and suppose you put water in that tube, so you can observe there will be rise in the level of the liquid. Okay, so compared to your the general level of the liquid, so the rise of the liquid level is called as the capillary rise. And the fall of the liquid, suppose you dip a glass tube, suppose you put the mercury in that one, then there will be a fall. So compared to the general level of the liquid, so the fall of the liquid is called as the capillary fall, and rise of the liquid is called as the capillary rise, and the unit is centimeter or meter. Okay, it's another property of the fluid. Okay, next we are having so these are the important properties of fluid. You should remember the properties are density, specific gravity, kinematic viscosity, dynamic viscosity, surface tension, and the capillary action. So these are all properties of fluid. Okay, so the basic things. Next, pressure measuring device. As I said, the manometers are used. Okay, next you studied fluid dynamics and fluid kinematics as a part of fluid mechanics. Okay, the fluid kinematics is one. It is a branch of fluids mechanics. So where the pressure forces are not taken into the consideration. Okay. On the other hand, in case of fluid dynamics, so pressure forces are taken into consideration. So in a moving fluid, there are variety of forces acting. One is viscous force, gravity force, pressure force, and so many forces are acting. Whenever pressure force are not taken into consideration, that branch is called as the kinematics. Okay, whenever the pressure force are taken into consideration, such kind of fluid mechanics is called as the pressure, fluid dynamics. Okay, and already you come across the various equation like Bernoulli's theorem and Euler's theorem. Okay, Bernoulli's theorem. So I recall that formula: P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus z equals to constant. What is the meaning of this equation? Is that the total energy associated with fluid flow remains constant. Okay. Then we will discuss one by one. P by rho g is the pressure head, and we are going to express pressure head in terms of meters. Next, fluid dynamics, where the pressure force are taken into consideration. So, we are having most important equation called as Bernoulli's equation, and we are having device called as orifice meter, venturi meter in our lab. So these equipments works on the principle of Bernoulli's theorem. Okay, so already you know the orifice meter and venturi meter, most important devices in the fluid mechanics lab to measure the rate of flow or discharge. Okay. Then how we are going to represent discharge? It is represented by symbol capital Q. Capital Q is product of A and B, where A is area of the pipe into velocity of the pipe. So discharge is given by A into V. Area is in meter square and velocity is in meter per second. So the final unit will be meter cube per second. Hence, we are going to express the discharge or rate of flow in terms of meter cube per second. So then how we are going to define discharge or rate of flow is the quantity of fluid flowing per second. Okay, and standard unit is meter cube per second. So for liquids, we are going to express in terms of liters per second also. Okay, sometimes you are going to convert meter cube per second into liters per second. So liters per second is Okay. So due to some network problems, I was not able to connect there. Please, all of you enter your USN in the chat box for attendance purpose. So we are discussing with orifice meter, venturimeter, and nozzle. So orifice meter and venturimeter are mainly used to measure the rate of flow or discharge. On the other hand, nozzle is a device used to increase the velocity of fluid, moving fluid. Okay, so in our labs we are having these three experiment in combined setup. So the formula is same. So that once you understand one experiment, easily you can do the another experiment. So we are having a orifice meter, venturimeter, and nozzle meter. So meantime, I wish to inform that there are two parts. One is individual experiment and one is group experiment. So the individual experiments are we are having calibration of V notch or the rate of flow through V notch. Second, we are having orifice meter, venturimeter, nozzle, friction in pipes. That is major losses in the pipes, minor losses in the pipes. Okay, and one more is the impact of jet on vanes. Okay, these are all the experiments or individual experiments. Okay. So you have to do individually. On the other hand, we are having another part called as the group experiment. Okay, in the group experiment, mainly we are having the turbines, air compressor, pumps. Two types of pumps. One is reciprocating pump and one is a centrifugal pump. Then we are having air blower. So these are the experiment comes in group experiment. Turbines. We are having three types of turbines. One is Kaplan. Second one is Pelton wheel, and third one is Francis turbine. So these are the experiments we are doing in group wise. Group experiment carries more marks compared to individual experiment. Okay. So in group experiment, we are having turbines. Okay, three types of turbines. Two pumps. One is centrifugal pump and one is reciprocating pump. One is air blower, air compressor. Okay, so these are the group experiment. Okay, so that part A mainly deals with your fluid mechanics concept, and group experiment mainly deals with your turbo machine concept. What you are learning in this semester, fifth semester. So next we are having applications of Bernoulli's theorem. So Bernoulli's theorem plays a very important role. So we can use to measure the rate of flow of fluid. Okay, the measure devices used in the lab are orifice meter and venturimeter. Now, what is the difference between orifice meter and venturimeter? So the orifice meter, first one in terms of construction. So we are having a orifice in the pipe in case of orifice meter, and we are having convergent divergent shape in case of venturimeter. Okay, first in terms of shape, and second one in terms of because of the construction. So the orifice meter is less accurate as compared to the venturimeter. Venturimeter is one which gives the accurate reading, okay, as compared to orifice meter. Okay, and third difference between orifice meter and venturimeter is that the orifice meter is less costly, whereas the venturimeter is costlier. Okay, and you might have heard the term coefficient of discharge represented by symbol CD. Okay, so coefficient of discharge is defined as the ratio of actual discharge to theoretical discharge. Suppose if actual discharge is zero 0.1 and actual discharge is 0.3, then whatever the ratio gives the coefficient of discharge, and it has no units. Coefficient of discharge is another important term used in the fluid mechanics lab. Coefficient of discharge, the ratio of the actual to theoretical discharge. You remember, theoretical discharge will be always higher than the actual discharge, okay, and the values will be always less than 1, okay, so that you should not get the CD more than 1. It is always between 0 to 1, okay? And coefficient of discharge for orifice meter varies from zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.7. On the other hand, the coefficient of discharge for venturimeter is zero point 0.9. As I said, the venturimeter is most accurate one, will have the higher coefficient of discharge. On the other hand, orifice meter has a less coefficient of discharge, and the values varies from zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.7. That is a coefficient of discharge. Now, these are all about the application of Bernoulli's theorem. You remember, nozzle, orifice meter, and venturimeter works on the principle of the Bernoulli's theorem. Next, moving to another individual experiment, that is friction in pipes apparatus or major loss apparatus, and one more is there, that is minor loss apparatus. Okay, before that, you should know what are the major losses and minor losses in the pipe. Okay, the major losses are mainly due to the friction of the various layers in the moving fluid. So, okay, majority of the losses are mainly due to the friction. That's why it is called as major losses or friction losses. We are having experiment called as major losses in pipe flow, and another experiment is there, that is minor losses apparatus. So the minor losses are mainly due to sudden contraction, okay, and mainly next sudden expansion of the pipe. Okay, and some obstruction. Suppose if you are having some stone-like structure in the moving fluid, in that case also the losses takes place. These losses are mainly due to the minor losses. These are called as obstruction, like some mud, stone, or anything which resist the flow. Okay, suppose you keep kept in between the flow of fluid, that is called as the obstruction in the pipe. And one more thing is there, that is bend in the pipe. So due to pipe bend also, we will get some losses. So this pipe bends are the examples of the minor losses. Remember, major losses are mainly due to friction, and minor losses are due to sudden expansion in the pipe, sudden contraction in the pipe, and then pipe bend and obstruction in the pipe flow. So these are the uh, uh, experiments in this one, minor losses. Okay. Next, we come to another experiment that is called as V-notch apparatus. This is also the individual experiment. So I think you might have studied in fluid mechanics V-notch apparatus. So the V-notch is also used to measure the rate of flow of moving fluid, so or the discharge. Then what is the difference between orifice meter and V-notch? Okay. The orifice meter, venturimeter are also used to measure the rate of flow or discharge, and V-notch is also used to measure the rate of flow. But this orifice and venturimeter are used to measure the rate of flow for closed conduits. Remember, it's the most important point. And V-notch is a device used to measure the rate of flow for open channels. Okay, open channel. V-notch is used to measure the rate of flow for open channel. I think you may in the dams and those things you might have observed V-type structure for the flow of fluid. Okay, and apart from V notch, we are having another notches like rectangular notch and trapezoidal notch. So these are not so accurate as compared to V notch. Hence, V notch is used for the discharge of through the open channels. So this is the experiment comes in individual category. Uh, Next, we are having impact of jet on mains. Okay. So impact of jet on mains means whenever we keep some structure in the path of moving fluid, then the force is exerted uh, by the fluid on the structure. That is called as impact of jet on, means how much force is exerted by the flowing fluid on the given structure is called as impact of jet on veins. So we are having, these are the experiments in individual category. I'll repeat once again. We are having orifice meter, venturimeter, nozzle, V-notch apparatus, uh, major losses in the pipe flow, minor losses in the pipe flow, and impact of jet on the veins. So these are the individual experiments, so the works on the fluid mechanics principle. Next, moving to group experiment, mainly we are having turbines. So, turbine is a major part in mechanical engineering. Turbine is a power generating device. Okay. On the other hand, we are having a device called as compressor. Compressor is a power absorbing device. Okay. So in case of turbine, W is positive, and in case of compressor, W is negative. Because in compressor, work is done on the system, and in case of turbine, the work is done by the system. Okay. So W is positive in turbine, and W is negative in a turbine. Okay. So turbines. Once again, I'll give the classification of turbine. Already you studied these turbines in elements of mechanical engineering. Okay. The first one, the turbines based on the type of energy available at inlet. Okay. Only kinetic energy is available in the inlet of the turbine. Such kind of turbines are known as impulse turbine. Okay. On the other hand, if both pressure energy and kinetic energy available at the inlet to the turbine, such kind of turbines are called as the reaction turbine. Okay. Impulse means only kinetic energy is available at inlet, and reaction turbine is where both kinetic and pressure energy available at inlet to the turbine. And examples of impulse turbine. Okay, Pelton wheel or Pelton turbine is the example of impulse turbine. Reaction turbine examples are Francis turbine and Kaplan turbine. This is the first category according to the type of energy available at inlet to the turbine. Okay. Second one is according to the head available. Okay, you studied the hydrostatic law in fluid mechanics. So H equals to P by rho G. That is the formula for hydrostatic force. So based upon the head available at inlet, so we are divided into three types. One is uh, high head turbine, second one is medium head turbine, and third one is a low head turbine. Okay, so first one is low head turbine. Low head turbine means the head available at inlet is up to.
So,
Uh,
are you projecting anything?
I am not present today. I am
Are
giving
you
the introduction. Okay.
okay?
Next week I'll share all the formulas, everything. Okay. Actually, next week onwards I'll give all the formula, everything I'll share. This week I'm giving only introduction about the lab. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Only introduction. Okay. What are the experiments are there? So what is the principle behind that experiment? How to carry out the experiment? What are the precautionary measure you are going to take the experiment, like that I'm explaining. Okay. Introductory session.
Okay, sir.
Okay, in terms of this one classification, first one is according to the head available at inlet. Second one according to head available. Means first one is low head turbine. Low head turbine is the head available at inlet to the turbine is between 0 to 50 meter. Okay. Second example is your low head turbine is Kaplan turbine. Second category is medium head turbine. Okay, medium head turbine is where the head available is from 50 meters to 400 meters. Example is Francis turbine. And third one is high head turbine. If the head available at inlet to the turbine is greater than 400, such kind of turbine is called as the high head turbine. Example is Pelton wheel. Pelton wheel or Pelton turbine is the example of high head turbine. Okay, so in the Viva, they'll ask, okay, differentiate between turbines and pumps. Give the classification of turbines. What is the kinetic energy? What is potential energy? What is pressure energy? Like that. That's why you should be aware of all these concept before performing the experiments, because basics are most important in fluid mechanics lab, because we are having so many calculations, so many formula, then tabular column calculations are little bit tedious in fluid mechanics lab. That's why, so you should have the aware of all these things. Okay. And third category, third classification is uh, based upon the direction of flow of fluid in the turbine. Okay, the first one is our tangential flow. Okay, so whenever the water impinges on the blades of the turbine, which is in the tangential direction, is called as tangential turbine. Okay, example is Pelton wheel. So second one is a mixed flow turbine. Mixed flow means the water enters radially to the turbine blades and leaves axially to the turbine blades. Example is Francis turbine. Okay, it is called a mixed flow turbine. So on the other hand, we are having one more category called as axial flow turbine. Axial flow means water enters axially and leaves axially from the turbine blades. Example is the Kaplan turbine. Okay, so just you remember these three turbines: Pelton turbine, Francis turbine, and Kaplan turbine. So Pelton wheel is the impulse type. Okay, next it is high head and tangential flow turbine. Okay, so next the second one is Francis turbine is a reaction turbine, mixed flow turbine, and medium head turbine. The last one is Kaplan turbine. It is of low head turbine, reaction type, and axial flow turbine. Just you remember these three things. One is impulse or reaction, next high head, medium head or low head, and then according to the direction of flow of fluid on the turbines. Okay, so this is all about the turbines where uh, pressure energy and kinetic energy is converted into mechanical energy. Mechanical energy in turn converted into the electrical energy, and whenever generator is coupled to a shaft. Okay, so this is how the conversion of energy takes place in the turbine. Okay, so we'll get mechanical energy by means of rotation of shaft, and then we'll get the electrical energy. That is the principle behind turbine. One more device is there, that is called as compressor. As I said, compressor is a work absorbing device. So work is needed to drive the compressor. Okay, we're having one more experiment called as reciprocating air compressor. Already studied a compressor in the applied thermodynamics. So that is module 5 compressor. So then why compressor is introduced in FM lab? Okay. So because as I said, fluid mechanics and machinery lab, so fluid comprises both liquids and air. So all the experiments, what except air compressor utilizes the water as a working fluid. Only the air compressor experiment utilizes air as a working fluid. You remember in FM lab, so we are having only one experiment, that is air compressor, which uses the air as working fluid. Air is also a fluid. Okay. Next, we are having two types of pumps. One is a reciprocating pump, and one more is a centrifugal pump. Okay, so the pump is opposite to that of turbine. In case of turbines, kinetic energy, pressure energy converted into mechanical energy. So, but in case of pump, the electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy. It is the opposite to that of the turbine. Okay, so that here electrical energy is required to run the pump, and which converts into mechanical energy. So the pumps are mainly used to lift the water from lower level to higher level. We are having two types. one is centrifugal pump and one is reciprocating pump. Okay, so in reciprocating pump we are having a piston. Okay, so that the fluid exert pressure on the reciprocating part. That is nothing but piston. Okay, and we don't have piston in the centrifugal pump. So the working fluid, so having the action of centrifugal force. We are having two types of force. One is centrifugal and one is centripetal force. Okay, so we are going to find out the efficiency of these two devices. Okay, so remember, mainly we are going to find out the efficiency of all these devices. And one more is there called as the air blowers. The working principle of air blower is very similar to uh, your fan. Okay, fan and blower. Okay, so we are going to find out the work efficiency of blower. Okay, so it is about all experiments related to your FM lab. Okay, one is individual experiment and one is the group experiment. So, any doubts guys regarding FM lab? You can ask. Any doubts regarding FM lab? Any doubts? Charishma? Jayan Bansali?
Sir?
Any doubts related to your labs? Like any doubts you are having, you can
No,
ask.
no, sir, no, sir.
Okay. Okay. Alap Mandir. Suppose you are having any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So meantime, I'll create the Google Classroom for this lab. So all of you join. Okay. I think from 1 to 24 USM is there in B1 batch. Okay. So those who are in previous semester, you are having a machine shop lab. No, same batch. Okay. So you have to join this Google Classroom. Today I'll create the Google Classroom. All of you have to join without fail. Okay, with your official mail ID.
Okay.
So today I gave all introduction about the equipments and then FM lab. Okay. So we start doing the experiment from next class onwards. Okay. Okay. Thank you for one and all for joining this session. Okay. Next class we'll do the experiment. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Alab. Alab. Hello. Alab. Biban. Chaitanya. Chaitanya.